Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the reviews that I like to do, and it will be about the latest news about Doctor Who. So one of my special interests consists of TV shows and films, and I like to do reviews about them and express my opinions. I don't expect everyone to agree with me though. I mean, because we are all entitled to our own opinion at the end of the day. So, when I heard the latest news about Doctor Who, me, among quite a big number of fans, pretty disappointed of the fact that there is no Christmas special this year after all. After all that, I'm like, I just don't quite understand it, because it kind of got the fans' hopes up after that cliffhanger where 15 regenerates into either Rose Tyler or Bad Wolf, or goodness knows if it's not even Rose Tyler, because I don't even know the purpose of why he regenerated into a familiar face. It just seems a bit of a poor way to put the show on hold. And I know there's a debate going off about, it's not cancelled, it's just put on tender so that productions take over. I'm like, that could take years. So I'm going to express how I feel about it, but also try to end the video on a positive by reminiscing about Doctors from the show. In my opinion, I personally think they should just stop it now. I understand not everybody's going to agree with that. For me personally, it's not just the fact that I'm not the most patient person when it comes to, like, particularly a cliffhanger ending, but, well, it just seems such a long time to wait, and by that point, I think, nah. I feel like if the Christmas special did happen, I wouldn't mind if there wasn't much more Doctor Who, or if we had to wait or whatever. Because that Christmas special, if they'd actually wrote a script, because they said they never wrote a script, I thought, but you made us think there was actually going to be a Christmas special. What's going on? You lied to us. But if they did have the Christmas special this year, it would have been nice to have some questions answered over, why are you a familiar face? What's going on? Me personally, I feel like the 16th Doctor should really have been Jo Martin, not Rose Tyler. Because me personally, I do not like the Timeless Child arc during the 13th Doctor's era. I love Jo Martin, she's a brilliant actor, but I wasn't quite sure with the way they wrote the storyline. I felt like if the Fugitive Doctor was a future incarnation, it would have made more sense to me personally. Some fans like Timeless Children episode, some, such as myself, don't, and that's perfectly fine. So I personally think that at this point, I don't really have much hope for Doctor Who. Russell T Davies has left, dropped the bombshell that no, there was never a script, so I think, why don't we just call it a day? I mean, we'd be lucky if they even got the episode being in 2028, because I know production can take a long time, so yeah. Even when Doctor Who really was cancelled in 1989, at least that actually had a more better ending. It wasn't left on a cliffhanger where there's loads of fan theories and people going, is that it? It's just, I'm really disappointed with it, because I do like certain doctors from Doctor Who, and quite a lot of episodes I find quite entertaining. The latest season that aired last year was pretty much hit or miss, but that cliffhanger ending, and it's been over a year since it aired, and now, goodness knows, it's on hiatus now. I have completely lost faith in it as a whole. I'll still like watch the old episodes, but if we're talking about moving forward, no, I'm kind of done with it now, to be honest with you. Just the way it's been handled, the way they got our hopes up, I just think that they've been very unfair to us fans. So yeah, that's pretty much, well, I've said my piece. So yes. Feel free, if you want to express how you feel about it, about the Doctor Who news, you're more than welcome to. As I will now be talking about the positives of what I found with Doctor Who. So I liked each of the Doctors equally, not just being played by different actors, but the different personalities, how 4 was a bit quirky, like with the "Would you like a jelly baby?" I liked 4, who were fun. It kind of felt like in the classics, 4 was the popular one, and in the later series, it was 10, David Tennant. I can confirm I do have a few favourites. I quite liked 3, because I liked Bessie, the yellow car. Sarah Jane was a really good companion. And I liked the dynamics with Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. That were fun. Tom Baker, yes, great Doctor. Loved the scarf and the fascination with jelly babies, and his companions like Sarah Jane and Romana, and I think there was Leela. Yeah. The 5th Doctor I didn't mind, but I wouldn't say it was one of my favourites. I liked Tegan and Nessa though, definitely. 6, not at the start. When he strangled Perry, I thought, that's messed up. You don't do that. But I did like him towards the Trial of a Time Lord, although that may be because when they changed the theme to Doctor Who, I did quite like it. It sounded very futuristic and colourful and vibrant. 7, he's got to be one of my favourites in the classic series. He had this dark, whimsical personality. I wasn't too keen on the companion Mel, to be honest, because I always found that whenever she screamed, it was so loud and high-pitched. It was like one of the things that she seemed to do quite a lot of. But I did like Ace. She seemed a lot more up for the adventures, far more than Mel. And like, she's feisty, got a baseball bat in her backpack, kind of feisty tomboy. And fun fact, I have met Sophie Aldred, who plays Ace, and Sylvester McCoy, who played 7. So, like at Hooverville in Derby nearly 3 years ago, and I was very grateful to meet them. I was incredibly shy, but glad that I met them. So, yes, I did like 7's interactions with Ace. They were, well, Ace, really. I had a few of my favourite episodes. I liked Remembrance of the Daleks. Had a bit of a dark ending, though, when 7 basically told the Dalek to just self-destruct itself. I thought, oh my gosh, that is grim. That is dark. And I also liked, I think, Happiness Patrol, where the Doctor was just laughing. That was funny. And think The Greatest Show of the Galaxy, I thought it was quite funny when the Doctor would do all these fun tricks. I liked it. I also liked the theme as well. That were good. Oh yeah, I like the first Doctor. My favourite companion's actually Vicky. I liked Ian and Barbara too. I think for two. Oh, Jamie. Yes, Jamie McCrimmon. They were fun. And 8th Doctor, I also met Paul McGann nearly 3 years ago. That were fun. I will say, when I first went to Hooverville, I was quite shy, so I could only manage a hello, but I did grow more confident as the years went by. And last year, I met, I think his name's Matthew. I think he played Adric, the 5th Doctor's companion, which I will mention in a minute. I had my autograph by Jacqueline King, who played... Was it Jacqueline King? She played Donna's mum in Doctor Who. And I also met Jo Martin, who played the Fugitive Doctor, which was amazing. So yes. The 9th Doctor, I liked him. I thought he had a bit of darkness, but he was a good character. Before I get on to my all-time favourite, with Adric, when I watched him in Doctor Who, I thought I'd find him absolutely annoying. He didn't actually seem too bad when I watched him throughout the show. I mean, yeah, sure, he had his moments, but don't we all? I thought Adric was alright personally. I quite liked him. And it was really sad when he got killed off. That was very tragic. The Doctor went through a lot of losses back then. So yeah. The 10th Doctor, I can honestly say I was absolutely obsessed with David Tennant. I loved the Christmas Invasion episode, because I know like when the Doctor goes through all these wardrobe changes, that has to be the best one for me. Not just because it's David Tennant, but because of the music. Song for 10 just sounds very, very heartwarming and bittersweet. I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the stories, although I wasn't a fan of Blink, probably because the Weeping Angels creeped me out. And I wasn't a fan of Love and Monsters, because I found it towards the end a bit weird. Also, we didn't see the Doctor or Rose much, and Rose, instead of checking that Elton was alright at first, she was, "Oh, you've upset my mum." I thought, maybe help him first and then nag at him afterwards, Rose. You sure got your timings wrong, girl. And then when Elton's like, he wants the Doctor to save his girlfriend because she got absorbed by the Absorbaloff and she was stuck on the pavement, the Doctor saves her life on a pavement slab. And I thought, oh gosh. I personally think it would have been kinder to let her go, and then the Doctor helps Elton with going through grief. Because putting Ursula's face on a pavement slab was probably not the greatest move. I thought, why? That joke at the end, no, that really did it for me. I mean, there are going to be some episodes of Doctor Who that you're not gonna like. I mean, there's quite a few that I'm not keen on. I liked the specials with David Tennant, like particularly Planet of the Dead. Although that scene where the bus driver got, like when he's like when they're through these parallel worlds, he's like, "Oh my gosh, look, there's like a portal, we can go home. And they're like, no, don't go through there. But he doesn't listen to them, and of course he gets fried and burnt into a skeleton. That creeped me out. Waters of Mars, the Doctor almost becomes Time Lord victorious, almost like the Master. And that was a pretty dark episode. End of Time Part 1 and 2. I didn't like with what they did with the Master. Why kill him off and then bring him back? It just seemed pointless to me. Especially as with the way they did the resurrection, I found it really creepy, and I hated how he were practically feasting on people. Ugh. Like that poor dinner lady, that creeped me out. Ugh, yuck. And when Ten's like, I don't want to go, I thought, no, you don't want to go, why can't he stay? Will admit, it took me a while to get into the Matt Smith era. I was so obsessed with the 10th Doctor that when he said I don't want to go, I was like, yeah, I don't want you to go either. But I will say I did like the 11th hour, mainly just because of 11. Like, after poor Amy's like trying to cook him food, and he's like being really picky and stuff, and then he finally settles for fish fingers and custard. I did like it, were funny when he were drinking out the bowl and he had a bit of a custard moustache. That was funny. I kind of took a bit of a break from Doctor Who because I was missing 10 so much. But then I did get into watching the 11th Doctor, and I quite liked him, almost as much as 10. I didn't like Amy Pond much in Series 5, like Blood and Stone, when she starts to kiss 11, because after going through the trauma with the Weeping Angels and she starts throwing herself at the Doctor, I just thought, why? That just does not seem what you should do. You're with Rory. Because, like, she didn't seem to be that committed to Rory. In the first episode, she refers to him as a friend. And then when they get married, after they get married, she's wanting to snog the Doctor, and Rory's like Amy, just all, sure, it's my wedding, and he's like, our wedding. I did start to like Amy. I did start to warm towards her more in Series 6. She did start to commit to Rory a bit more. I still struggle to understand the storyline between her and her daughter, Melody Pond, aka Riversong, because she looked older than Amy. And given how we saw her in the 10th Doctor's era, Silence of the Library, and she's all spoilers, I was very confused with the way it was written personally, but I do like her as a character. I find her iconic. Also, I will say that Series 7 was one of the best series for me in terms of Doctor Who. Angels Take Manhattan. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely shed a tear when Amy said Raggedy Man goodbye. That is one of the episodes, if you like, that Amy truly loves Rory. If she didn't, she wouldn't have joined him, but she did. And 11 was absolutely devastated. Not just that Amy left, but Rory as well. Very emotional episode. Doctor Who does know how to tug at your heartstrings. Combination of dark, happy, heartwarming, and at times depressing. But it's one of those where you just really enjoy watching it. Apart from the odd few that may be a bit cringe or a bit nah. I like Clara. I grew to like her. I liked 12. He was quite grumpy. It was quite sad though with what happened with Clara. Very sad indeed. I've actually got a Funko Pop of Clara's memorial on the TARDIS. So yeah. When the Master was Missy, I actually liked that incarnation because Missy seemed to genuinely change her ways. She wanted to be good. She didn't want to be bad anymore. She still had her moments, but she weren't quite as nasty or as vile. So I did quite appreciate the incarnation. 13, hit and miss. Good character, but I wasn't a fan of the writing. There were some episodes that I did not like. And I'm not just talking about Timeless Children and the way that was written. I'm meaning even the one like when she was like the woman that fell from the sky, how she suddenly teleported into falling into a train. I didn't really understand that personally. But I love the outfit that she put on afterwards in the charity shop. That suited her. I didn't like arachnids in the UK. 1, I'm absolutely terrified of spiders, and 2, I actually sided with the antagonist because I thought, please kill those gigantic spiders. They're horrible. And I didn't like how Jade helped the spiders to grow. I thought, why? You're no better girl. So, yeah. I liked the flux. I found that quite interesting. And of course, Carvanista. Oh, I liked how he was quite a feisty companion. They were fun. I wish I saw more of him, but sadly we didn't. It was just in the flux. Then the Power of the Doctors got to be my favourite though. When we see all these past Doctors, that was really fun. I was so shocked when I saw 6, Colin Baker. I never thought he'd return to Doctor Who on the show, but he did. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Very, very heartwarming episode. And when 13 regenerated into 14, familiar face, David Tennant, I absolutely screamed with delight. I did not expect that to happen. I screamed so loud that down upstairs, my nan heard me and told me to stop screaming. It felt really nice. 14 was the closure that 10 never had. I like how he said Alonzi before regenerating. That is exactly what should have happened with 10. But didn't. But I can honestly say that the bi-generation took me by surprise. But it was fun. And I liked how 14 got to live the rest of his life just sort of relaxing. He had the closure that we absolutely deserve to have. And yeah, 15, I liked him. I thought he had really good whimsical energy, quite funny. I mean, yes, I know people would say he did cry a lot, which, yeah, but I mean, I didn't mind that. There were some episodes that I liked and there was some I disliked. I wasn't too keen on Church on Ruby Road. I suppose with those aliens singing, I thought, this isn't a musical. It just felt a bit off to me. I didn't like Space Babies, those CGI babies with the way their mouths were, and the literal bogeyman. Ew. I just found it a cringe fest. No. 73 Yards, I found really interesting how people suddenly recoiled from Ruby, and then you find out why. I found it a bit strange, but interesting. Dot and Bubble, I found it quite interesting. Although I will say those characters, especially the girl, were quite horrible to the Doctor. And they literally refuse to get in the TARDIS, even though he will save their lives. Here in a box. But they refuse to go in with him. I'm like, you're just going to get killed. If you don't go with the Doctor, he'll save you. That part was frustrating, but a very interesting episode I found. I want to say that I liked Reality War, but the way it ended, and given how we don't know what the next episode's going to be, yeah. I think at this point, I'll probably watch random episodes of the ones that I like, and any that I don't like, I don't have to watch them again. Unless I'm going from the beginning. So, yeah. That's my review on Doctor Who. And that's it pretty much. So, thank you for listening. Please like the video, and I shall see you all in the next video. Bye for now.